Good everyone, I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of Platform App Builder Certification Series. So today we're going to talk about duplicate management, right? So before I get into nitty-gritty stuff of duplicate management, or before I do hands-on, as usual, you know my opening statement by now, right? Please sign on to a free org. If this is the first time you're trying it out, please do not try it in a customer sandbox. It's not a good way to learn stuff, right? Because Salesforce gives you free org. So I talked about zillions of times how to register for free org. So there will be different videos out there as well. So if you find it very difficult to register for one, and which I believe you shouldn't be, because it's a pretty straightforward process. Okay, all right, let's get to the business now. All right, now. So why do we need a duplicate management in place, right? So think about a simple scenario, very basic scenario. You are a salesperson, right? And you sign up a deal with a client. Let's say you have decided that, sorry, not you. I mean, the client have decided to buy beers from you, right? Because we are talking in terms of a brewery, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to sign up a person, and so that company name will go as a contact, right? And what if the similar contact name exists in the system, right? Or what if the same person, for instance, let's say if you have dealt with that person before for whatever reason, right? And that person has left the company, right? And joined somewhere else, right? And then, so that person is already part of your Salesforce system, right? Let's say John Muller, right? So John Muller worked for let's say Frankfurt pub, right? He was a main source of contact, and Frankfurt pub is a client, right? It's a client of Wilson Breweries, right? Now, the John Muller decides to leave Frankfurt pub and go and join, let's say a Barcelona pub, right? Let's say you're expanding to Spain, okay? Sounds good. Now, this is a very awkward scenario, but you are just giving you so that you understand the context. Now, you're signing up with the Barcelona pub, and so that you can supply your craft beers from New Zealand, because apparently Wilson Breweries become so popular in the world. Everyone likes the craft beers because of the special recipes we use, right? Okay, so now you wanted to sign up a John Muller, John Muller into your system. Now, when you try to enter the John Muller, right, contacts will obviously say, okay, you can enter. But think about the scenario. You already have a John Muller in the system, the same person, but he left and he joined another company, right? So is it wise option to duplicate that information, right? Imagine next time John Muller goes and join, instead of Barcelona, probably goes and join a pub in Newcastle, right? So Newcastle pub becomes your client, and John Muller works for Newcastle now. So you enter John Muller twice. So that's actually ridiculous, right? That's called duplication of data, which is not at all a good option. You don't want to have a duplicate data in your system, right? Duplicate data is not a good way, because your salespeople will not have confidence in the system, right? If your system allows you to enter the duplicate data every single time, right? So that's where the duplicate data management comes in the picture. Very simple, very easy. The most simplest concept we have in Salesforce, yet very powerful, right? It is a very, very powerful feature, I would say. Okay, so let's dive in. Right. So the first thing first, when you log into your org, it will take you to your the setup page, something like that, depending upon the time of the year you're watching this video. Okay, so if you do not know how to go to setup, there's a gettr icon here, and setup, it will take you to this page. Nice and easy. Fantastic, right? Okay, now under quick find, which is very nice and easy box we have, right? Type matching rule. All right, this is where the magic happens, right? This is where you define your equation. This is where you define what should happen, right? What all the fields should match. Let's say you wanted to set up a matching criteria based on the first name and last name, right? Let's say if you find a name John Muller anywhere in the system, right, it should flag it as a duplicate. Just a simple scenario. You can extend it based on department, you can extend based on phone number, based on email. You can do a lot of combinations here, right? But just to keep the demo nice and simple, we're gonna stick to first and last name, right? To give you context. Then you can go ahead and practice and expand at your own pace. Cool. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a new rule here. So we're focusing on, you can do with leads, right? You can do with personal account, personal account. You can do with, so you can do with accounts, right? You can do with leads, you can do with contacts, right? So as you can see, we already have a standard matching rule here. So we're going to create a custom matching rule. We're going to focus on contact. You can do with leads. So what I wanted to do after this lecture, right? I wanted to go and try this on leads. And perhaps you can try this on accounts, that's your hands-on, right? I'm going to give you knowledge so that you can take it and practice at your own pace, right? I expect you to do that if you wanted to be a good Salesforce consultant. Cool. Okay. Right. Go to new rule here, right? And then we're going to choose contact because our main area of interest is contact here. So go to contact here, right? You can choose account or you can choose lead, right? Cool. Next. We can say new contact rule, right? And just put this as a new contact matching rule. Please make sure that you enter a valid description. It's very important because if someone else looks at your newly created matching rule, he or she will have an idea what you're talking about. Otherwise, they have to approach you. What if you leave the company, right? It's not good. You need to give as much information you can, right? That's the way you should do stuff, right? To make it more useful for other people. Okay, so field. We're going to focus on first name, as we talked about. This is the requirement, right? And you can choose exact name. Exact name means it has to be John. But if you have J or H, if you make it something like a fuzzy, right? So it's good to have a fuzzy, right? Because sometimes you can have J Muller, right? Or you can say Joe Muller, right? So, it's good to put it as fuzzy, but again, it's based on a business requirement, right? You know what your company wants, you know how your business works. So there is no hard and fast rule here. So it's entirely dictated by your business rule, right? So I just gonna keep it fuzzy here, just to make it simple. And the last name, because last name is important, right? Anyways, in the contact, right? I keep a fuzzy name, right? And you wanted to keep match blank rules, you can take it. I'm not going to do that. And you can add a lot of other fields, right? If you want it, okay? And the filter logic for now, it's and you can make it as or you can do a different combination, right? It's cool. You can read about it, how this filter logic works. You can make it as, or, right? Or you can put the bracket, one and then or, two stuff, right? You can do a lot. It's an equation we are forming here, right? So it's a logical equation. So let's say you were saying, I wanted the first name and the last name match or something else, right? You can work out. Right, so you're gonna save. So matching rule is done, but that's not enough yet, right? You just create a matching rule, but the most important thing I've seen most of people miss this out, that's to activate it. It's very important to activate it. Otherwise, you will not have a matching rule in place, right? It's very simple, but at times we tend to forget. It happens with the best of us, right? Cool. That's great. Now, right, so we're activating, so, right, so that's fantastic. So now what we can do, so it will send an email, right, based on how your org is set up, so it will send an email, so fantastic, nice and easy, cool, right? Okay, now, this is done, this is first part, right? So now we have taken the first step and we configure the matching rule. Now we have to go to duplicate setup. So we have to go to duplicate rules here, right? You can incorporate this in your custom standard duplicate rule if you want to, right? Or you can create your new rule, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new rule. So usually it will be a good practice if you think that the standard duplicate rule is not doing the job, then go to here, right? Edit this one, right? And change this contact from standard to new contact rule and save it. So that will do the job for you, right? But this is one way. If you believe that your standard it's not good enough, right? Okay, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to create a new one, right? Just to demonstrate how to create a new rule, right? So new rule, I'm going to go down. So you have to choose the contact object here, right? And duplicate contact rule, right? Okay, so we're going to do, scroll down here, and we're going to do to new contact rule. That's all we wanted to do, right? Nice and easy. Save. Okay, now don't forget to activate it. Most important step. It's very important, right? Cool. Fantastic. So now we have done 2 steps here, right? First, we activated the matching rule, which is great, and then we activated the duplicate rules, right? So now let's create a contact. That's where all the magic happens. I hope so far you guys are following very well. And it, like I said, it is a very simple concept, but yet the most powerful concept, I believe, in Salesforce, because it stops the duplication of data, right? Isn't it exciting, right? Isn't it fantastic stuff? Cool. Because it makes sure that your data integrity is maintained, right? I do not want a system with duplicates, right? I do not want that. So it's important to make sure you have a data integrity check in place. Cool. Now, let's say we have this John Mueller already in system, right? So I don't want it to. So let's say I give you, if you remember 10 minutes ago, I talked about a scenario. John Mueller now joins the Barcelona pub, right? So, sales guy wouldn't have, in our case, you can see the John Mueller on the screen, but at times it may not be visible on the screen, right? So you have, let's say, tens of thousands of contacts, right? It's not obvious, right, whether the person exists or not, right? I mean, you can obviously search for it. That's one option, but think about it, right? You have a lot of deals coming in. I mean, it's a tedious affair, right? I mean, we are human beings. It's not like it's an artificial intelligence software hooked up, certain patterns you wrote and keep on doing the same stuff, right? We do mistake at times, right? So it can skip for whatever reason, right? A person may be extremely tired or exhausted, forgot to check it, and why? You have a duplicate data. So that's why the duplicate system is in place, right? It does the job very well. So go to new, okay, and type John Mueller. John Mueller. Cool. There you go. You got a message. You have a duplicate, right? Now, let me ask you this. You are a salesperson. Would you prefer this, or would you prefer to search it by yourself, right? If I'm a salesperson, I would prefer this option, right? This is fantastic. Right now, let's say, show me duplicates, right? I'll take here, right? Open this contact. Now, let's have a look, right? So this is how it works. Fantastic, nice, right? So now, this is all I wanted to talk about today, but this is very important from an exam point of view. And even if you're not appearing for Platform App Builder certification, you still need to know, right? Because it's an important concept. You're very powerful, and so yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today. So that being said, thank you very much for watching this episode today. Greetings and ideas from New Zealand. Bye-bye.